Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's third visit to Spain marks another key moment in his ongoing diplomatic campaign to secure international support for Ukraine in the face of Russia's continued invasion. This time, his visit began in Madrid, where Zelensky was welcomed at the Spanish Congress, an institution of significant political importance in the country. His arrival was met with both formal and emotional recognition, as Spain has been a consistent supporter of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Zelensky's visit to the Spanish Parliament was framed as a gesture of both appreciation and a plea for continued and expanded support. Over the course of his trip, he met with the speakers of both houses of the Spanish Congress, a symbolic gesture that underscores the importance of the legislative branch in shaping Spain's stance on Ukraine's war with Russia. Following this, President Zelensky was scheduled to hold talks with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez and King Felipe VI. These meetings are a part of Ukraine's broader strategy to strengthen its diplomatic ties with European Union member states, particularly those in the Mediterranean region, as the conflict with Russia stretches into another challenging winter. As Zelensky arrived at the Spanish Parliament, the images captured by the press painted a picture of a leader determined to keep the momentum of international support going. Spanish lawmakers and officials greeted him warmly, as his visit was not just a diplomatic necessity, but a statement of solidarity against Russian aggression. Throughout his visit, the media captured several poignant moments. The wide shots of his arrival at Parliament were coupled with more intimate close-up frames, reflecting the gravity of the meeting between Zelensky and the Spanish officials. The wide shots gave viewers a sense of the solemnity of the occasion, while the medium panning shots offered glimpses into the interactions that were taking place as the Ukrainian president stepped into the heart of Spain's political institution. The meeting at the Spanish Congress was also an important diplomatic opportunity for Zelensky to highlight Ukraine's needs for continued support, especially as European leaders are grappling with the political and economic pressures that come with prolonged involvement in the Ukrainian conflict. It is well known that Spain has faced domestic political challenges regarding its level of engagement with the war in Ukraine, and Zelensky's visit served to remind the Spanish public and political leaders of the broader implications of Russia's invasion. In his address, Zelensky emphasized Ukraine's resilience in the face of adversity, underscoring the importance of maintaining solidarity with his country. He articulated Ukraine's need for continued military and humanitarian support, particularly as the war intensifies and Russia escalates its military campaigns. For Zelensky, these diplomatic missions are more than just meetings. They are lifelines for Ukraine, as each visit allows him to push for further assistance, whether it be in the form of military aid, sanctions against Russia, or support for Ukrainian refugees. As Zelensky toured the Spanish Parliament, he also had the opportunity to meet with key Spanish lawmakers, both from the ruling coalition and opposition. This cross-party engagement was essential as it aimed to solidify Ukraine's bipartisan support within Spain, ensuring that the government's stance on the Russian invasion remains strong and unified, irrespective of political shifts. Meanwhile, the backdrop of Zelensky's Spanish visit also highlighted the strategic role that Spain plays within the European Union and NATO. As the war in Ukraine continues to evolve, Spain's position in the Mediterranean becomes increasingly important in terms of military logistics, humanitarian aid distribution, and diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis. Throughout his visit, the Spanish media followed every moment closely, from wide-angle shots capturing Zelensky's arrival at the Parliament building to more focused frames showing the president's interactions with Spanish leaders. The press was keen to document the diplomatic significance of these meetings. Parliament building filled with lawmakers and diplomats, all gathered to hear from the Ukrainian president, painted a vivid picture of the international stakes at play. In his discussions with Prime Minister Sánchez, Zelensky stressed the importance of maintaining Europe's united front in the face of Russian aggression. Sánchez, for his part, reaffirmed Spain's unwavering support for Ukraine, echoing the sentiments of Spain's continued alignment with NATO and the European Union in their condemnation of Russia's actions. Zelensky's dialogue with King Felipe VI, on the other hand, focused on the broader strategic cooperation between Spain and Ukraine, particularly in terms of fostering stronger bilateral relations in defense, trade, and cultural exchanges. The Spanish monarch's support of Zelensky's cause provides a symbol of solidarity that transcends political party lines, reinforcing the message that Ukraine's struggle is Europe's struggle. While the political discussions were happening behind closed doors, the Spanish public remained engaged with the events through live media coverage and the increasing presence of Ukrainian flags and symbols of support on the streets of Madrid. The visual presence of these symbols served as a reminder to the Spanish populace of the urgency of the conflict and the need for continued international commitment to Ukraine's defense. As Zelensky's visit continued, he made it clear that his efforts in Madrid were part of a larger diplomatic strategy to ensure Ukraine's position on the world stage remains at the forefront of international discussions. His message was clear: Ukraine will not back down in the face of Russian aggression, and it is counting on the support of its European allies to ensure its survival and sovereignty in the face of Russia's militaristic ambitions. Zelensky's commitment to securing further military aid and diplomatic backing from Spain speaks to the broader geopolitical struggle between the West and Russia. His visit to Madrid serves as a microcosm of the larger diplomatic ballet taking place in capitals across the world, as countries like Spain navigate their positions between supporting Ukraine and managing their own internal and external political interests. By the time his visit to Spain concludes, Zelensky will have met with key European leaders, reinforcing the message that Ukraine will continue to fight for its freedom and that the international community must stay united in its resolve to resist Russian expansionism. For Ukraine, the stakes could not be higher, and Zelensky's tour of Spain is just one example of the relentless diplomatic efforts required to keep the flame of international support burning bright. In conclusion, Zelensky's third visit to Spain is an important chapter in Ukraine's quest for global support. His meetings with Spanish political leaders, his address to the Spanish Congress, and his conversations with Prime Minister Sánchez and King Felipe VI underline the importance of diplomacy in times of war. As the war in Ukraine continues to unfold, Zelensky's engagement with Spain is a critical step in maintaining and expanding the international coalition that is so vital for Ukraine's success.